Welcome to the MLS show. It is me, Baz, here for week 6 results reaction video. Excellent games again. A lot of ties this week. What can you say? It continues to entertain each week, the MLS. It's absolutely fantastic. Love the way I said the MLS there, even though I know that it isn't called the MLS. Anyway, let's get straight into it and let's start with Philadelphia Union against Orlando City. Orlando arrived in Philadelphia, top of the Eastern Conference. They played quite well, 8 points from their opening 4 games, a couple of wins and a couple of draws so far for Adrian Heath's men, including back-to-back victories. So they arrived here full of confidence, but without Kyle Larin, who is always going to be a big miss for Orlando City. He is such a focal point for Adrian Heath's side. And they would have wanted this game to start off quite slowly, feel their way into it, get the passing game going and try and put Philadelphia on the back foot. And that's exactly the opposite of what happened. It was just 3 minutes. The game's just 3 minutes old. Cross from the right-hand side. Rafael Ramos has got to do a lot better than what he did. It's come right across him. He needs to see it out with his left foot. He doesn't. He makes a terrible mess of the clearance. It breaks and CJ Sapong slides the ball past Joe Bendik in the goal to give Philadelphia Union the perfect start. And then the game was a little bit of a ding-dong in the first half. Both sides had chances. Winter was a threat, playing off Kaka. You know, he's so quick. At the other end, like I say, Sapong was causing problems. But Orlando City got level. Possibly deservedly so, I'm going to say. Maybe a little bit biased there. Deservedly so, right on half-time when Winter put the ball in beautifully, really. Great little ball through, flicked on. Winter carries on running onto his left foot, sweeps it back into the far corner past Blake. And it's 1-1, you know, and a lovely, lovely goal. Ties the game up and gets Orlando City in at the break at 1 each. And, you know, both sides then positioning themselves to go for it in the second half. Into the second half, both teams pushing for that winner. I've been impressed with Jim Curtin's men this year. I think they look a lot more solid all over the pitch. I feel so far what they've shown so far anyway. Of course, I've been impressed with Orlando City as well. They've looked excellent as well. But both teams kind of cancelled each other out in that second half. Both looking to try and nick it on the break. I would say a lot of counter attacking going on. But Curtin put on Tranquillo Barnetta, and it was he who had the all-important say in this game, scoring an absolute worldie of a free kick in the last minute, in the 90th minute. Free kick, edge of the box, bends it over the wall, just guides it. Bendik just basically looks up, aghast as it hits the underside of the bar and drops in. And it was an absolutely wonderful goal and fit enough to win any game, but there was a little bit of controversy. Union players standing behind the Orlando wall. A lot of people saying the goal shouldn't have stood for offside. It was a direct shot. I'd love to sit here as an Orlando City fan and say it shouldn't have counted. It was offside and everything else. I just find it hard with with the laws, the way offside is now. It was a direct shot at the goal. It's gone in. I'm gonna say, it probably was a goal. I didn't really at the time throw anything at the TV saying it was offside. I thought it was a goal. It was a wonderful goal to win any game, but the Orlando City almost equalised after that. Winter again with a great strike, and what a save from Blake. Absolutely incredible save from Blake in the Union goal to ensure that Philadelphia won. Orlando City losing their first game of the season. Philadelphia going above them into second place behind Montreal Impact. Orlando City dropping down to third place. So there it was, Philadelphia Union 2, Orlando City 1. Moving on, Montreal Impact against Columbus Crew. This ended Montreal Impact 2, Columbus Crew 0. Montreal have been excellent, haven't they? Absolutely excellent so far this season. Columbus Crew haven't got going at all. Kai Kamara, Ethan Finlay, Justin Merrim, Higuain haven't hit the standards that they hit last season. And we've got an invader. It's just my little boy grabbing something off the... Yeah, close the door. Sorry about that. Live, what can you do? And Montreal I've started the season really, really well. This game was always going to test them because I feel as though even though Columbus Crew are not performing, I just feel as though they're going to get better. At some stage, it's going to click. They've got too many good players, in my opinion, to be struggling as it goes on. But it hasn't been a good start to the season at all so far. But Montreal Impact, excellent. Both teams had chances. Camera headed Impact in front. Great cross, lovely header from Camera right to the bottom corner of the net to give Montreal Impact the lead. But, you know, Columbus Crew had missed chances. Camara, say his name wrong, he missed an excellent chance. He slid one over. Ethan Finlay blazed over, went in on goal when you'd expect him to score. Just the Merrim missed a chance. You know, when you look at it and think, it's just going to be one of those. It's really going to be one of those for Columbus Crew. And it was, and Becker wrapped it up for Montreal near the end. And they've been really good. Piatti, again, fantastic for Montreal. And when they get Drogba in there as well, you know, Harry Shipp as well, he was industrious the other night. So things going in the right direction, most definitely for Montreal. I think they're in for a very, very strong season. And, you know, in the end, they fully deserved their victory. So interesting to see whether they maintain it. They are now top of the Eastern Conference with 9 points. 3 victories and 2 defeats for them. For Columbus Crew, struggling at the bottom. But I am sure that they will turn it round. But at the moment, it is the table doesn't look very good for fans of Columbus Crew. But this one ended Montreal Impact 2, Columbus Crew 0. New England Revolution against Toronto. This ended up New England Revolution 1, Toronto 1. What can you say about the Reds? Started the season with 3 goals on the road at Houston Dynamo. And I've struggled for goals ever since, which is a little bit bizarre. Jay Heapsman, I think that's the only time he'd managed more than 1 goal in the game. Struggling, you know, trying different people up top. They've tried Charlie Davies, they've tried Teal Bunbury, Agudelo, you know, and at the moment it's not really working for them. Got ahead in this one. This was quite an even game, I think. Toronto had Josie Altidore in for his first start of the season. He had a chance early on, a header just over the bar, and he was, you know, a handful as Josie can be when he plays well. He can be a handful for anyone, and it was quite an even game until Callum Rowe headed in for New England Revolution. Great ball crossed in, Rowe coming in, lovely header into the far corner, and that gave the Revs the lead. And they were looking, you know, they were hoping to build from there. Lee Wim trying to pick holes in the Toronto team, dropping off into nice little pockets, popping it off, you know, and trying to create little bits of space for Bunbury and stuff. Toronto done well to stay in the game, and got themselves level through, yes, you guessed it, Sebastian Giovinco. He was back, hasn't scored for a few weeks, but he took his goal well, albeit fired a deflection there. Altidore linked up with him, and Giovinco slid it past the keeper with the help of a deflection into the bottom corner of the net to tie it up for Toronto. And I suppose the big talking point really was right at the death, the 92nd minute, when the Revs thought they'd won it. Lee Win putting the ball in. It was a cross, a deep cross. It's kept alive, knocked it back, and Win puts it home and thinks he's won the game for the Revs, but not to be. Eagle Eye linesman had ruled that the ball had gone over the touch line. They call it the end line. It's the touch line. And therefore the goal didn't stand, and it ended in a 1-1 draw. So, you know, Toronto maybe will take that on the road. Revs frustrated, I think, at the moment. They're having a little bit of a frustrating time. I think they just need to settle on a formation, settle on a way of playing, and then get their season up and running. They've got some good players. They've got players who can hurt teams, but they just look like they're missing something at the moment. Dare I say Jermaine Jones in midfield? I don't know. Toronto, they switched to a 4-4-2 for this game. I thought they looked a lot better. I'll be honest with you. I thought they looked a lot better with Altidore's physical presence up there. If they can get a tune out of Josie Altidore, they will certainly cause problems for teams. But this one ended all square. It ended New England Revolution 1, FC Toronto 1. Moving on, DC United against Vancouver Whitecaps. It ended DC United 4, Vancouver Whitecaps 0. DC United's first victory of the season, and they were excellent. It was a horrible display by Vancouver Whitecaps. who had David Ousted to thank for keeping them in the game. Early on he made some brilliant saves. But they went ahead. It was a shot come in. Again, Ousted makes the save, and it's Espandola knocks it into the net to give DC United a deserved lead. Ben Olsen's men have struggled so far this season. People still not happy that De Leon is in midfield and not wide. But he tried it again, and at the weekend it paid dividends. It ended a 4-0 victory. Absolutely fantastic result for DC, really. Espandola put them further ahead just after the break to make it 2-0. And then Saborio added a couple of goals late on to make it 3 and 4. Whitecaps had a couple of chances, hit the post, missed another couple of chances that they probably should have registered on the score sheet on the night. But DC United, what a result. Saborio took his goal brilliantly well. And it was a much needed boost for Ben Olsen's men. Like I say, the first victory of the season. Now, it'll be interesting to see now where they go from here. Can they kick on from here? They've got that monkey off the back, so to speak, with the victories. Ben Olsen has been in for some criticism so far this season, so it's going to be interesting to see whether they can follow this result up. For the Whitecaps, a little bit up and down, a little bit roller coastery so far this season for them. But a couple of they lost the first couple, they won the next couple, crashing back down to earth with this 4-0 defeat. So Carl Robinson will have his work cut out this week in training, I am sure, ahead of next week's games. But this one ended, like I say, DC's first win. DC United 4, Vancouver Whitecaps 0. Moving on to probably the most bizarre game of the weekend in terms of how it played out, and that was New York Red Bulls against Sporting Kansas City. New York Red Bulls missed a hat full of chances. Bradley Wright-Phillips, I am talking about you. Bradley, who has scored 44 goals in the previous 2 MLS seasons, hasn't scored this season and is missing chance after chance after chance. Like all good strikers, I think Bradley will, once he gets his first one, that will be it. He will be up and running and will shoot New York Red Bulls back up that table. But at the moment, and particularly the other night, he had an absolute nightmare. It was a horror show from him, missing chances, hitting the post, even had time to miss a penalty in the game, yes. Sporting Kansas City, on the other hand, very good on the break. Looked very well organised. Look like they're going to be a good side, a good counter-attacking side on the break this season. Took the lead with a lovely goal. Great strength from Dom Dwyer. The ball ended up getting dragged across, and Benny Feilhaber slotted home to give Sporting Kansas City the lead against the run of play. But hey, listen, away from home, that is how you play sometimes. You try and suck teams in and you try and hit them on the break, and Sporting Kansas City done it to a T. Into the second half, done it again. Bradley Wright-Phillips continued to miss good opportunities. Sasha Kleshin almost scored right on half-time. It was New York raiding chance after chance, raiding. But couldn't get that equaliser. And, Sporting Kansas City, who not having the greatest time with injuries, lost another 2 on the night. Kevin Ellis, the centre-back, being one. But already without Matt Besler, of course, as well, remember. But, they broke forward, a ball coming, throw in, long ball into the box. Dom Dwyer, pure strength, swiveled and lashed it home with his left foot to give SKC a 2-0 victory on the road. Despite Bradley Wright-Phillips missing a penalty and more pressure being put on towards the end, Sporting Kansas City held firm, and they've been excellent, haven't they, so far this season. But it was a great result for them on the road. 2-0. Good to see an Englishman, Dom Dwyer, among the goals as well. But they're certainly a team to watch this season. Sporting Kansas City look a very good side. All you New York Red Bulls fans, stick with Bradley Wright-Phillips. Once BWP gets his first, he will get an absolute half full. At the moment, it's not happening for him. This one ended New York Red Bulls 0, Sporting Kansas City 2. So that concludes part 1 of this week's roundup. Going to do it in 2 sections this week because so many games and I've waffled for long enough on the first 5, and it makes the video shorter and easier for you to watch. So look out for round 2, part 2 of the roundup rather, if I put my teeth in right, and I'll catch you next time on the MLS show. Welcome to the MLS show. It is me, Baz, here for week 6 results reaction video. Excellent games again. A lot of ties this week. What can you say? It continues to entertain each week, the MLS. It's absolutely fantastic. They're opening 4 games, a couple of wins and a couple of draws so far for Adrian Heath's men, including back-to-back victories. So they arrived here full of confidence, but without Kyle Larin, who is always going to be a big miss for Orlando City. He is such a focal point for Adrian Heath's side. And they would have wanted this game to, love the way I said, the MLS there, even though I know that it isn't called the MLS. Anyway, let's get straight into it, and let's start with Philadelphia Union against Orlando City. Orlando arrived in Philadelphia, top of the Eastern Conference. They played quite well, 8 points from there to start off quite slowly, feel their way into it, get the passing game going and try and put Philadelphia on the back foot. And that's exactly the opposite of what happened. It was just 3 minutes. The game's just 3 minutes old. Cross from the right-hand side. Rafael Ramos has got to do a lot better than what he did. It's come right across him. He needs to see it out with his left foot. He doesn't. He makes a terrible mess of the clearance. It breaks and CJ Sapong slides the ball past Joe Bendick in the goal to give Philadelphia Union the perfect start. And then the game was a little bit of a ding-dong in the first half. Both sides had chances. Winter was a threat, playing off Kaka. You know, he's so quick at the other